Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. I'm your head Derpivorn, and I guess today I'll be your Professor Derp. I'm going to be teaching you how to set up a system like this, where you can just go ahead and deposit all your ME drives in here, hold a bunch of it, and all of it without any ME controller. So this, you can see I've got some stuff stored in there, and I can go ahead and take the cards out of here, and you can see all of them have been removed from the ME drive. And of course there's nothing in this system. We go here and we just shove them all back in, and we'll get all of them back over here in our system. Okay, so let's get started. This is our system here, essentially. I just constructed this as a example to show you what all the working parts are before I show you how to actually build what I have over there. Here I've got a ME chest with an ME drive in it. Currently it's disconnected using a ME toggle bus, and this lever turns it on and off. Up here I have similar. I've got a crystal chest with the wool and a storage bus going in, and this is the terminal. So you can see all the stuff is connected. Right now I've got this other portion disconnected, but you can see here that basically the ME storage uses whatever it's connected to as storage for the ME system, similar to the drives over there. Now if we want to add this chest in, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it back on. We can see I've got one glowstone here. Now you can see the regular ME network as well as the storage network have been integrated together here. And so we can pull stuff out of here, put it back in, and it's not actually going to go up here. It's actually going to go into this cell here. Now if we go ahead and take this, you'll see we have priority control. If we want to make sure things go to this chest first, we go ahead and throw that in there, and bams, there you go. So now you're asking, why do I have all this over here? And also note, this is not a ME controller. It's just a infinite power source I'm using for tutorial purposes. This is just a cable here. Quartz fiber cable does not transmit data. It only transmits power. So that's bringing power over to these cables here. And the red is just for style. Okay, now if I connect the two networks, you'll notice we have more stuff in there. That's because this network here has an ME storage drive with that in it. This terminal, you'll see only that. That's because this is an entire sub-network, because we've got an interface that's connected to a storage bus. That storage bus is making this network able to treat the entire other network as a storage location, similar to a chest. So think of this as just a really big chest that our main ME network can use. Now, the only thing that this really limits is we cannot use functions such as auto crafting and the like through this sub-network on here. Now, if we have an auto thing saying, hey, make sure that there's enough in the network, you could set that up. I'm not going to be showing you how to do that today. It's a little bit complex. But you can see here we've got our ME storage, similar to over there. How we do that is on the side here, we've got these storage bus. So it's treating the actual inventory of these ME drives as a chest, sort of, and making our ME network function off those. If I take these out, you'll see they disappear out of there. And you can see in the background they'll go back in. And since I've set the priority here to +1, they always go into this one. If I were to set the priority up here to, okay, there we go. Hold on, there we go. Priority. Then pull these out. Now, when we go and throw them in, they'll show up top there. Okay, savvy? Let's get to actually building it. So this, we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to be sending our cable down there with the, let's call it the storage data. So the green is going to be for our item data, and The blue will be our storage data. Now, this is essentially what the core is going to look like. So we're going to go ahead and build that. I'm going to go ahead and pull all of this out. Okay, let's do a little bit of organizing just so that we have things here. So the interface and the storage. So we want storage, then interface, and blue quartz. We're actually not going to need the red yet. We'll need that later though. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to put this here, and this, we're going to have all our wiring underneath the machines down below, or underneath the drives, underneath our server room, if you will. Now we're going to go ahead and put a storage bus on the top, skipping one. So it's right above these red here. So see? And so we're skipping one block each time. Now we just go ahead and slap an interface on each of those. Hold shift, because if you don't hold shift, it's just going to open up the storage bus, and you don't want that. So there we go. Now you'll notice this doesn't have any power yet. We'll go ahead and power that up soon, just not quite yet. But keep that in mind. Now we're going to run our cables up the center here, and again shift to place that first one there. And boom, there we go. And down the sides of these, because we're going to be going and placing these ME drives, we're going to be having these storage devices on the inside here. So we're going to go ahead and take these storage buses and throw them on there. And there we go. Whoops. Now if you miss something like that, just hold shift and right click it with any kind of wrench from pretty much any mod, I believe, will work. And we can get that. Boom. And now we're all done with that portion. Now, for now, we're done with these storage buses and the interfaces. The next thing we have to do is we're going to go and set up our power here. So we're going to want one power quartz fiber down below there that's going to transmit power. But it's also going to make sure that we don't accidentally connect the network somehow. So if we wanted to, we could use the same color underneath, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. But let's first go ahead and pop these drives on here. And again, remember, hold shift to get these in place, because otherwise you just open it up like that. Whoops. And again, the right click. There you go. I like how when I'm making a tutorial, a mistake like that one right there is not so much of a mistake as a teaching opportunity. And I'm going to stick to that story. I meant to do it the whole time. No, not really. I totally didn't. So this is pretty much completely done at this point, except we need to connect it, because you'll notice there's no way to actually access the data, the item data stored within these ME drives. We have ways to access their cards that are stored in there, the actual drives within there, the cells, but we don't have any way to access their data. Also, we're not powered on these lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to go downstairs, and you'll see there's a lot of complicated stuff over there. I'll explain it soon. Now, we're going to pop this out. I really should have had some shears. Hold on. Shears. And just because we're in creative mode, we're going to go ahead and get diamond shears, because I never actually use diamond shears. There's no reason to in my mind. In normal game. Okay. So, now that we've got all that wool out of the way, we can go ahead and throw that in there, and we'll throw this back in there. Oh, one more. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and connect that to this network. This main line comes in here and connects up to that line that we accessed via terminal before. Now remember I said there's no ME controller, and there is not an ME controller. I'll show you proof later, but right now just trust me on that. There's no ME controller. Now what we want to do is we want to take this green cable here and we're going to pop it in there. Now what you'll notice is that that green cable, if you look really carefully in there, it's connected to the quartz fiber. And actually I'll go upstairs and show you that. So if we look in here, they've connected. So what that's going to do is that's going to transfer the power up into this main the main conduit there, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and bring this down one, bring it in. And this is where we're going to start using these interfaces again, because we want to be able to access and store things off of this green line into our green lines over here. But you'll notice if we look at it, it's got 6 of 8 channels. If we went and we just put another one like that, oh, now it says 0. That's because it's overloaded and it can't handle it. It's got just too many. So what can we do? Instead, we're going to make another subnetwork. So instead of doing interface and then storage, we're going to do a storage bus, or sorry, I got that backwards. So we're going to put an interface on there, and then we're going to be putting our storage bus on the end there. Well, now when we go here like that, we do that again. So we put an interface to make it act like a chest, and then we're going to go and hit this storage bus to make it connect to the next network. Now we do that one more time. Now you see this automatically connects and it disconnects our network. Remember this was illuminated before. So if I disconnect this, see how it lights back up? We've got 3 of 8 channels. You got plenty of channels, but oh, this one has 7. So what can we do? Well, we can either go and do it like this, or we could go and just put them like that, but I don't like the way that looks, you know. So what we're going to do is we are going to go there and temporarily disconnect our network here. Then we just pop our interface there, our storage bus, and throw them in there. Now you'll notice, oh wait, the power isn't going into these. So you might be wondering, okay, well, I have to have it directly connected, right? Well, not exactly. What we can do is we can take these little quartz fibers and we throw them on each of the networks. Then remember how I had that red? This is mostly just for clarity, but I can take this red now and I can connect it in here. Now you might ask, oh, well, why aren't you just, chaining it? Well, I could go and put 1 quartz fiber there and 1 quartz fiber here and make a little loop, and that would be all great and everything. But since there's only 2 here, we'd be using the same amount of red cable, but we would be using twice as much of the quartz fiber. So it wouldn't really be resource effective. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what we have upstairs. So now you'll notice the power is transferring through the quartz fiber into here, and that's all great. That's awesome. Now we could totally store stuff in here if we had the storage. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of this out, all right, including that one. Now you'll notice our network has nothing in it. We're going to put one of them in there that has something in it, because this one says 0, right? And you'll notice, hey, we have stuff again, right? And we can store stuff to there if we want to. Let's go ahead and put this blue cable in there. And now we can see it's in there. Take that out. No longer there. We put this back in over here. And one up there. And there we go. It's all in here. I'm going to take this blue back because we're going to be using that downstairs. Because as you'll notice, this is not connected up here. So if we use the blue terminal, we would not be able to store anything in any of these because this cable is not getting power. So what we got to do is we got to hook it up to our system over here. just like we would everything else. Now that's getting power, but if we go and look over here, it's not actually connected into our network, right? It just comes along here, goes like that, boom, 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 boom. And then we have to connect it into the blue network there. Now, I actually didn't generate enough cables for this, so give me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is smart cable blue, and we are going to make 5 cables. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Now, oh, wait, what happened? The whole network went down. Why did that happen? Let's go and take a look. So if you'll notice, over here we've got 5 of 8 channels, and over here we've got 6 of 8 channels. Well, that's a problem. How do we connect them? I mean, we could go and we could put a storage bus here, and then we could put an ME interface there and throw in this cable. Oh, there we go. We don't have the same problem we had before. But I don't really like that solution. To me, that solution is just a little bit ineloquent. It means it's a little bit harder to expand everything. And you'll notice the reason why we've got so many channels here is actually because if we look upstairs again, we've got 1, 2, 3 devices all on this that don't really need to be on there. So what we could do is we could make a sub-network of each of these. And so we throw our interface, then we throw our stuff there, boom. Now we've only got 4 channels, but oh wait, we lost the power on that one again. So if we look upstairs, we no longer have the power on that top channel. So we need to bring that in as well. And we take our quartz fiber, throw that in there, and there we go. Now we've got power in the whole system. And there you go. We've got our channels, and we can totally store stuff here. Now, right now, if I take one of these drives out, and I come over here, put it back in, it's going to go right back over to there. And that's because of the priorities I've set. So these right now are pretty low priority. You might think, oh, well, we just go here and we change the priority. And we can change the priority here to, let's change this one. Change the priority to 100. Oh, it's definitely going to go there, right? We go here, take this, put it in here, and it went back over there again. Nothing in here. Well, why not? Well, if you notice, we've got a storage bus up here that's sending it into the interface, right? And then that interface is choosing here. So within these 6, it will always go to this storage interface, right? For this drive here. But that isn't going to really show us what we want. We want them to show up here first. So, well, let's change this one. So we change this one to 100, right? That we take one of these out, put it in here, and we look, and it's still not there. Well, why not? We have this set, right? Here you go. We have it set. But if you remember downstairs, this blue one is the actual network that's handling that. Apart from the fact that we don't have the blue cable connected, sorry about that. We have too many channels. I did not account for that. Okay, you are watching me figure out on the fly how to configure this thing. Sorry. So what we need is another interface, and another storage. If I can spell storage correctly. Bus. Okay. So now we go ahead and I actually want to show you that you can use the full-size interface as well. So if you want to, you could use the full-size interface and that's going to work perfectly fine. Although this would be actually the other way around, wouldn't it? Because the interface is the chest, the storage bus is the actual puller, shall we say. Anyways, at this rate, now we've got it all connected. On the other stuff, just trust me, it still wouldn't have worked even if I had it connected correctly, because here, this storage bus is the one you actually need to change to send it into that grouping. So we need to change this one, and that's how I have it sending into that other grouping, is over here, I have this storage bus configured the same over here. That had a 1 in it, where everything else had just a 0. Now we go in here, there we go, and let's pull these out, and then that one there. Throw them all back in, and I messed up. What did I mess up? Oh, right. We now have one more. So you got to pay attention to the cascading interfaces when you are doing this. Because as you can see, I didn't think about this last interface here. So this storage bus, we need to change this as well. So this is a higher priority than that one over there also. And so now we come in here, and we're going to take all these out. And we're going to go over here, shove them all back in. And now they've shown up there, and one of them should be here. Because remember, we set the priority 1 on this one, and all the others are 0. You could do that with any of these. Now, one last bit, and if you just want it to be exposed like this, then just by all means skip ahead. But you'll notice that I have all these decorated all nice, right? What we can do is, the nice thing about that is it allows us to have the pretty stuff, but if we use one of these network tools and transparent facades, we turn on that option, we can now see through the facades. So we can see all our networking in here, but if we don't have this tool, like for example if we're anyone else, then we see those. The moment we pick it up, we see our actual network. We can come in here, and if we want, we can just go and access these interfaces and do whatever we want. Now if we didn't have that tool, we wouldn't be able to. See, I'm right clicking and I can't access that. But with the tool, nice and see-through, we can access the storage bus on the inside. To set that up, I've got a few more things in here. And so that is these here. Now the fan, I'm just going to stick that on for decoration purposes. We're going to stick one of these on each of those. Boom. And you'll notice there's a little gray rod when you put these in. That's how you know if you're using something like really transparent like glass, which you can totally use if you want to, then that's how you'll know that it's actually there and be able to see it. And even though the glass is transparent, people will still not be able to interact with it as I showed you. These cable facades are awesome. They're great to use for things. I mean, if you like decorating your stuff and having your stuff look all nice, these will save you a world of pain. They are so much easier to use than covers, which you can use. You know, you can saw a block in half and use a cover. But the downside to using a cover is that you will not have the ability to just go and see through them like this. So you won't be able to interact through them while having it there. You'll have to go and pop it off of the thing and, you know, set it up again. But yeah, so here's our fully decorated thing, and it still works the same. It's still awesome. Now, this is kind of, you'll get a complication if you try to put too many of these. You can put a lot of them on one line. If I turn back on see-through, you'll see that this is all just one line, right? And it's got 7 channels right now instead of the 4 I think we had on the other lines. Let's see, yeah, four channels on the other line. Yeah, so 7 instead of 4. Now over here, we've got 0 channels. That's reading wrong. But anyways, so we have the storage buses, but it's longer than we can normally have. So in here, I have one of these storage buses and an interface. Just the same thing we were doing before, except it's on this other line here. Now, this will allow you to build networks of pretty much infinite size, and these are all just hooked up exactly the same. And the only thing is I have a power line running out here, and there's actually a infinite storage cube behind there. You could run it downstairs and then plug it into the network with the quartz fiber again. However you want to get power to it, that's up to you. That's just how I decided to, because I kind of preferred the out of the window look there. And I was lazy because I'm in creative mode in a single player world, not on my server where I actually have to, make all of this stuff in the first place. I'd probably be a bit more reserved with my resources if I was. But you can see here that this is just, that again, chained out further. So this is the one that didn't need the relay at the top. And over here you can see this is the one that did need the relay, but again, it's just the same thing repeated over and over and over. The same thing over here. So really, once you have this down, you can do it as much as you want. You can go as far as you want. The only thing is you're going to have some trouble with height. If you want to do more height, then you're going to have to look at other options. If you guys are really interested in more height, go ahead and let me know down in the comments, and I can show you a build for that. Otherwise, thank you for joining me today, and I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial, and see you all next time.